Here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
An award-winning softball season deserves a celebration. Don't miss your chance to congratulate Jordy Ball in person. Join the team at Midwest Bank for a special meet and greet on July 16th at their Jamie Lane location as they recognize her incredible achievements. Bring your friends, your team spirit, and your favorite gear for Jordy to sign, and it all kicks off at 4 p.m. They can't wait to see you there. Get all the details at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome to On the Block. E. Strick here. Another day, another opportunity to hang out on the block with the Hall of Famer Jay Foreman, E. Strick. No Austin Orman. Once again, it is LA Oxenfree hanging out with us on the block. What's good with you?
Happy Tuesday. How are you, boys?
Taco Tuesday?
Taco Tuesday. We had Tipsy Tina's today.
Yeah. They always come through good and fresh on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
What's that song, Jay? Going on up on a Tuesday. Yeah, that's what happening.
I don't know who that is, though.
I don't either, Jay. This is part of that mumble rap new edition. And I'm not talking about, Bobby Brown and Ralph Tresvant.
We could be rapping.
Right?
We could have.
That's how they be rapping.
We just been regular like we were trying to do the raps when we were younger.
Man, it's wild out there. But thank you for joining us on the block again. Sponsored by the Mercado. With every type of what, Jay?
Every type of meat, every type of cut.
That's
you
what
gotta
they
go in there
got.
and ask the butcher and say, "What's up?"
Yeah,
What's
go
up with it?
holler at them. Let them know.
It's July 1st. Is today July 1st?
Yes. We're 3 days away, baby.
Yeah. We 3 days away from Rubber Dub Dub Let's Grub. But we're also in the danger zone because everybody and their mama think it's July 4th already.
That is a fact, Jay.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing is for sure is I don't approach it with the same mentality that I used to. Like I used to really go in like I'm about to tear these. Like, looking at your burgers, I probably would have went buck wild.
Yeah.
I don't eat like I used to over the holidays. When the holidays are normally, you're going to get some potato salad and baked beans and
it
burgers.
Ain't the backyard boogie no more.
It ain't the backyard boogie like it used to be.
We old, man.
I know, man. I told myself I don't look like I used to be the dessert king.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm telling you, everything had to have something with it, whether it be cheesecake, apple pie with some ice cream. What are those things? Those Pazookies, whatever they used to have at BJ's, the ones with the big old skillet cookie with the ice cream.
I don't eat dessert, though.
Man, I used to go in. I
never have.
I don't eat it at the same tone that I used to. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of that I just don't like sugar like that no more. I don't eat candy like I used to.
Eating candy.
Yeah, I don't do it, man. What are you guys up to?
Just
Tell
keep
us a
me
little
busy.
something. Say, shout out on the block. Ooh. Shout us out on the Sutter Haven text line 402-464-5685. East Strick. No Austin. We miss you, Austin, but we still love Ellie over here. We don't miss you too much because that's a pause on that.
Hey,
Eric,
Wally Pip, Austin, you could get replaced. I know you listening.
There it is. Thank you guys again for joining us on the block. We're going to talk a little football in this first hour. We'll talk a little bit about college, and I have a perspective on it, but we'll talk about Georgia and they're closing their NIL collective, which is kind of wild because you can still use it, but they're actually closing theirs. Being that revenue sharing is starting, that's one topic. We'll also talk about what Nebraska is doing up front. On the old line, going and get it. Now, it's not going to just be about the personnel. I want to dig a little deeper on that topic and talk about what does it mean and is Nebraska getting his swag back type thing, or is it just part of the time and you get recruits and so forth and so on, because to land a 4-star, it's Puma, right?
Claude, isn't it?
Claude Puma, right? Is it, huh?
I nickname him CP.
CP, yeah, because I don't want to mess up his name. I think it looked like Puma to me.
Yeah.
Not the shoe brand either. But I don't want to talk about the specifics of it, but it seems as if they're landing who they're looking for type thing, Yeah,
I think,
and I want to dig on that.
Yeah, I think in order to be good at recruiting or evaluating, you got to kind of have an idea of what you like. Now, they target guys and they think, I don't know what they're thinking, but from the outside looking in, they have a body type and a metric that they like, right? And so, just watching and listening to some of the things that like Callahan or Sipple says, they mention track times with the skill position guys. So, and that's everywhere now. I was just listening to somebody else down in Auburn or something. They said, that you need a legit,
where that's at.
Yeah, I know. That's Alabama Slam.
Yeah.
But you need a verified time, skill position wise. And I think as far as the offensive line, and this is, I think, probably comes from, experience in the NFL for Matt Rule. He's obviously coached D-line and in the offensive line at the pro level as well. So he knows certain, wingspan and all that, height and all that per position group initially. And so they're going out trying to attack it. And, 4-star guys, it's hard to really hit on 4. I think 4 stars.
Pause.
I think they're harder to hit on.
See, that's what I'm. So when we get to that, let's go. Stay tuned with us because we're gonna come back and really hit it. Because one of my questions is gonna be, how effective and do stars matter also, and to what level do they matter, and what's kind of the sweet spot in
it's a difference. And I had to learn. I've learned this, but back to my original answer is that they have like a clear picture of what is good to them.
Yeah.
So that's where you're seeing, okay, they getting the guy on campus, the mutual interest is there. It probably comes out in how they're talking to each other, the need and the want. And then that's where, when you get to Lincoln, it's a closing percentage. I think 4-star is hard to me. And I think in basketball as well as well. I think it's the hardest thing to hit on. I think 5-star guys are generally, plug and play mostly, right? And quarterback is there's 10 other reasons why they make it or don't. And that's the other 10 guys on the field. I think 4-star is hard because there's more 4-stars out there than 5, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a low 4-star and a high 4-star. Now you can have a low 4-star that's essentially a 3-star just based on proximity, right? Alabama versus Iowa, right? You know where you're at. But you could be ranked as a high 4-star, but it's mainly because of potential, right? Say, you only play 1 or 2 years of football. Maybe a basketball player, and then you had a couple too many meals or too many plates on 4th of July.
Yeah.
Now you're a tight end and tackle. You got a lot of potential, right?
Yeah.
And you have initially the height and maybe the speed, but you're so much bigger in high school, you don't have the functional strength, but the production is there, especially in the 7-on-7, right? So imagine you roll out there and the guy's 6'6" and he's playing receiver or tight end, You know, and with no pads, you just Randy Mossing people. That's where I think it. Whereas you gain more mainly because that low 3-star, low 4-star and middle 4-star, lower 4-star goes into the 3-star. Them 3-stars, them dudes are that's the dudes that eat glass. Those are the dudes that, hey, I'll give an example. Is like when I was I wanted to go play in the Senior Bowl. I'm 6'2". Back then, they wanted bigger, taller linebackers. They took a guy from Iowa because he was 6'3.5". That's the difference. Production, I'm 4-star, 5-star. The measurables, I'm 6'2", 6'2.5". That's the difference, right? Whereas I play 9, and the other dude who, I keep track of him because I'm petty, he's at 0. So that's where I think the 4-star is really hard to hit.
Yeah.
Because in people's minds, right?
Yeah.
I'm a 4-star. They're not satisfied. They're like, I am one publication away from a 5-star. Well, actually, you're probably more like a 3-star. And then, when you get there, you roll in and you Strick, you right? When you go into NBA camp, right? They're like, oh, here come Strick. They think he didn't get drafted, but you had a pretty high grade the year before based on how the team does. Boom, now you walking the dog on him. That's no different than a guy that's getting drafted at the end of the first round, the second round versus Strick. No different between the Joker and all them guys and Anthony Bennett, right? Anthony Bennett, in your opinion, probably got drafted more on potential,
upside potential, what he showed in summer workouts,
right?
It's the same thing as Tony Mandridge. You can.
It's the same thing, and I think that's the hardest thing to evaluate. And plus, when you're especially across the line. And I remember hearing this, and I remember it because I was coaching youth football. The hardest group to coach are the big guys because they're always walking around strict, bigger than everybody in high school.
Yeah,
so you don't even know. You don't even know.
That's a fact.
You don't even know if they bite back yet, because when you see a line, you ever seen those offensive lineman videos or highlight tapes on Huddle or whatever it is, and they just walking the dog on a little defensive end.
Well, they used to say that about your boy. Was it Cart? No, who's the lineman that came out of Iowa, but it was a kind of a small, but he was a 5-star, or a 4-star.
That's here.
He was a lineman, offensive lineman, a little smaller. They redshirted him, I think, to get him bigger, but he's got great footwork. I mean, they kind of talk of him like Cam.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? 402-464-5685.
That could be it.
What lineman are we talking about? He came from Iowa.
I know who you're talking about.
He was a big recruit. We were really trying to get him landed because he dominated. Like you would see him on film, and he was gashing, making huge holes, running people, similar to what Cam used to do when he was here playing center.
But that happens though. But also, strict, what people don't understand and what kids don't understand, and some of the the parents or mentors or whatever. No matter what they say, no matter what anybody says, it's better for offensive linemen to mature on the bench in a slower process.
Facts.
Because in general, this is the honest to God truth. If an offensive lineman is very, very rarely, but majority is if an offensive lineman is 300 pounds in high school, say 285 plus.
Yeah, that's big for high school.
I can almost guarantee you there's a higher percentage. I wouldn't say bad weight, but just weight so you're hitting certain check marks, right? That then levels you up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, Bricks was his name.
Yeah. But
thank you, Hizzlebear. I appreciate you. Unnamed texter, thanks for those coming in. But it was Bricks is the one we're talking about.
But then if you're carrying around some bad weight, then it takes you a couple years to get caught up, lean body mass, and then strength. And plus, you're going against grown men, though.
And what's crazy is a lot of people don't understand how lean and athletic pro offensive linemen are.
Hey.
Like you see them when they be out and they look just like they're smaller than what college. No, sir. It's just there's
right. And there's dudes that actually look sloppy that can run.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Well, I seen Jonathan Ogden throw somebody out the club. I didn't realize how big that dude was. Like
he's like 6'8", right?
6'9".
6'9", yeah.
And
And lean, but rock diesel,
he's
yeah.
strong. And then Flozell Adams, where he's big.
Oh, yeah, I remember Flozell. I was in Dallas when he was there, yeah.
And then, you know, they had Zeus, man. You know, his
they
son
had Eric Williams, too. Good God, Williams was a beast.
And he's a former boxer from Philly.
Yeah.
And when you see these dudes and how big they are and how lean they are and how fast they can move, I always talk about how, you know, Jamie Nails and Ted Washington was a defensive lineman. He was 6'5", 350, 6'6", 350. I've only seen him off of his feet one time. Then I played with him my first 4 years and watched him for the next however long until he retired. Never saw him off his feet. I've seen him jump over blockers. I've seen him I've seen him do things athletically that you don't see the normal 6'5" or even 6'2" guy do.
Yeah.
So it takes a long time for you to get to that place. I mean, you got to think, you know, in our time, Zach Wiegert was a basketball player.
Right.
That's how he got a scholarship, because he got hurt. And then, so, you know, people saw him, how he could run and stuff like that. Where do you think that came from?
Yeah. Yeah. And I used to, one thing I used to do, Jay, is I used to talk to a lot of, you know, or even watch some people, like, in the importance of different sports and how they affect you for your professionalism. For example, a lot of people used to wonder about how a seemingly unathletic Steve Nash could get it off the way that he could. But a lot of people don't understand and know that he played soccer.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to Giannis. Like guys who do these other sports, whether it be wrestling, you wonder where the brutes just in you know, in the box or in the what they call the phone booth type strength comes from. Like you said, boxing, just some of the quick reflexes and you know, the hands and how you parry things. You know, just different sports and some of those correlations. A lot of people don't understand how that can help you. And this is why I tell a lot of young folks, play everything you can.
Right.
As long as you can.
Right. Yeah.
Because they will help you in a lot of different ways.
That's the old school mentality where, like, my dad was like one sport, and I know your dad, Matt, so I can speak for him, where one will boil over into the other.
Yeah.
I got two examples, and I'll tell you this from my coaching, the kids that are just naturally, I will tell you this, that are naturally more physical and actually play better, the more chaotic it is, are my soccer players. Number one, they can run forever. Number two, they actually attack almost too much. There's one I had to dial back, but when I started to talk to them in soccer terms, it clicked. But the more physical the game was, the more tighter it was, the more pressure packed. They played like they were. I used to call one of them Bruce Lee. Like always, like they just become water. And that's from soccer. And his dad told me that. And number two, I will tell you this. My dad explained to me when I was playing basketball, that helped me play defensive back and receiver. He's like, you backpedaling, and then you making split-second decisions. You running routes, you just catching it, and you're learning body control. You know that from baseball. You're the hand-eye coordination. And the way I learned that when I took my production to an extra level at the pros is one of my mentors was Joey Browner, and he was like a 6th-degree black belt.
Right.
He took me in the off season, and it helped me learn body control and other people's body control and getting off linemen. I mean, Strick, it was like night and day. Everybody thought like, oh man, you got on some like weight program. No, I'm actually using their force and their momentum against them, and it probably saved my career.
Yeah, I have to say it was very similar for me, Jay, in that one of the things that my dad did when I was really young that I appreciate even to this day is he would take me to the base gym and as a 12-year-old. But I was an anomaly. I was 6'2", almost 6'3" in the 8th grade. So I grew early. Right. So I was already pretty big.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, but he would take me in there, and even guys, even to this day, they'll Facebook me and like, man, I remember when you used to, your dad would bring you into the base and, you know, the things you would do. But it was that beating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my dad, he continued that even while I was in high. I don't think I beat my dad until I was almost a senior. Finally,
Yeah.
And they would just boom, boom. And he would allow it to happen. So that was cool. But that's what football gave me, because I always played up.
Yeah.
Like I when you talk about peewees, I jumped from Bantam. Well, Bantam was the lowest level.
Low.
That was just because of age.
Right.
I really shouldn't have been in there because I was way too big.
Yeah.
I jumped straight to junior twos. Like I
Right.
didn't even go through junior one. I went whoop, straight up, and then I played senior the next year. So I was always playing up, right? But it was that physicality always. It was that awareness. It was that being able to look at formations, understand tendencies, watch, all of that helped me in basketball.
Right,
That's why I was
It's the
able to
same
read
thing.
plays, understand what they were trying to accomplish, what they spent.
It's the
It
same
taught me
thing.
that.
It's the same thing.
And baseball was really the thing that taught me cerebral, how to be cerebral.
Yeah.
Because in baseball, Jay, you had to think 5 plays ahead. Because if the ball's hit short and there's a guy's on first, there's things that you need to do. There's places you need to go with that ball. If it's hit to your right or left, off center, in the gap, to the wall, there's like all these different things that can happen depending on what transpires and where the ball goes and so forth and so on. Same thing when you're on offense. And that taught me how to always be processing the game, not just by the happenings of the now, but thinking through the game and fail. Because when you get up to bat, you have to train your mind to understand that 3 out of 10 of those times you step up to the is excellent.
Yeah.
So if you're having a bad day and you're shooting, okay, you got to learn how to wash that away, get to the next at bat.
Yeah.
And so all that stuff. So you're right in that it all taught me a lot of that.
And the biggest thing to teach you constant competition, because the way you compete in football is different than basketball and then baseball.
Yeah, because you can't go in there and we've seen football players try to go in there and play basketball from the way that they play football, and they be D-boying and boom and ended up with T. So it can affect. You got to learn how to.
And I think they all come together wherever direction you go. I will tell you this, Strick. John Hollistack, who's he went to high school with Rodney Harrison in Chicago. Southside Chicago. Listen, John Hollistack. Listen. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I'm in a fight in O Street, there's other guys I'd take, but I would not hesitate with John. I'm telling you, he's tough, man. Yeah. And he was mean.
I'm taking Meta.
And but because he's crazy too. Well, I got your boy from the Indiana Pacers. He James, the black belt. Nobody wants to mess with him. I'll take the Pacers. But the thing is that he told me, and he taught me as a young rookie. He's like, you need to start studying who you go against. He's like, listen, you go against a dude that used to wrestle in high school, you in for a dogfight. I mean, because they just gonna keep competing. They're gonna, and he said, the best thing, or the best and the worst thing about it is they know balance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And people wonder,
one-legged, they got one leg and they know how to maintain
doing it.
Yeah.
And then, everybody talks about Ray Lewis. It's his wrestling background.
Yeah. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what you can't knock him off the feet.
Yep.
If you
good leverage,
man, you got good hands, good feet, and then you got your eyes together, you're gonna eat and you're gonna get paid.
That's a fact.
On top of being extremely talented. But that's why you never saw him really get blown up. And when you seen him rocking Eddie George, and when he, Ray Lewis ain't nothing but this tall.
Yeah, Ray's he's got to be about 5'11".
Yeah,
5'10", maybe.
He went from 6'2" when he came in the league, then 6 foot.
Okay, Ace Bailey.
Right. He about 5'11".
Boy, they trying to say Ace Bailey was 6'10", my boy. Come on, man.
6'5" 3/4".
Okay, Draymond Green.
Right. And so, but when Ray Lewis used to hit, dude.
Yeah.
And when he hit Eddie George, and Eddie George is a legit 6'4".
That's a fact.
You just can't move him, man. You just got that, and that comes from wrestling. And then he was inspired to be competitive based on a family situation, outdoing his dad on the wrestling mat. Then he took that right to. So when you think he a little off, he is.
Yeah, in his own little way.
In his own little way, yeah.
There it is. Well, look, we're gonna come back and talk about the Georgia situation. We just switched it up, man. You never know what happens on the block. The conversation can shift. That's a fact. We glad to be here again.
Some of that, you want me to call down to Jonas and say, hey, man, can we just let us just go in there and just canvas it a little bit. Let's see what you got left. Since you closing up shop. Me and Stricky can get in there and get a little something.
We can do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta get Jonas on the line.
There is. We'll come right back. We'll talk a little bit of Georgia and how they're closing up their collectives. You know, is it a model? Is it just they're shifting the way that they're doing things? Is this something to look forward to on other teams? And does it affect even the smaller universities in the way that they're doing things? We'll come back. We'll discuss it on the other side of this break right after this. 93.7 The Ticket on the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Citizen soldier and veterans of the Army National Guard, you are invited to celebrate the 3rd of July at the Roca Tavern for a free concert by Sean Cole and the Drunk Monkeys. It all starts at 8 p.m., and it's sponsored by the City Car Wash on 3rd and Main in Hickman. Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Make bill paying a breeze with Text to Pay. LES texts you 1 week before your bill's due date. Just reply to the text to pay. It's that easy. Log into your account at les.com to sign up today.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with light winds. Afternoon high around 89. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, below near 66. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 94. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
An award-winning softball season deserves a celebration. Don't miss your chance to congratulate Jordy Ball in person. Join the team at Midwest Bank for a special meet and greet on July 16th at their Jamie Lane location as they recognize her incredible achievements. Bring your friends, your team spirit, and your favorite gear for Jordy to sign, and it all kicks off at 4 p.m. They can't wait to see you there. Get all the details at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC. Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Join us for early break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the brand new Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket. We'll showcase the brand new hotel and preview its grand opening. That's early break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here a roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome back to On the Block, and we're going to jump back into the topic that we're talking about starting the show with, and that's really the NIL. It's not necessarily to talk SEC. It's not necessarily to talk about NIL in general or the new revenue sharing deal that begins and that was legislated through the government. We're not digging in it from that perspective. Here's the reason really why I want to talk about that. One, to me, it has seemed, Jay, that Alabama and was cutting edge pre-NIL and how they dealt with things, how they were able to shift, how they were able to be pliable, how their staff was able still to take advantage and keep them a leader. And Nebraska, I think, was one of those ones as well, ahead of their times in the way that they were able to do things. I think I mentioned here on the block, Jay, of how one of the specialties for Nebraska was being able to acquire top-tier talent. But at the time, there was problems. And if you're the best at solving the problem, that problem was what they called Prop 48 back then. Mm-hmm. If you're able to solve those problems and be really good and effective in doing that, it gave you a cutting edge. And I thought Nebraska was one with Dennis LeBlanc and Keith and those guys down there. They were really astute. I mean, they're still there. That's the consistency you have, but you don't have the innovation, I don't think, anymore. So for me, I'm looking at it. Is this a new model potentially? Is this a new way of going by things? Because what we're finding here is that Georgia, they're ending their collective. And part of it is the House settlement that is taking effect today allows schools to directly pay these student athletes. They're starting, and we're going to see if this is going to be a rising number each year, similar to what salaries or contracts would do. They would raise by a specific percentage each year. Is it going to continue to go up? Is it going to be measured? How is it going to be measured? Those are things to continue to watch as this is going forward. But also, when they had outside NIL deals that were worth more than $600, they would have to be approved by a clearinghouse.
Yeah. And
that clearinghouse is run by Deloitte, which is an accounting firm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now that Georgia's NIL stuff was done through what they called Learfield, and Learfield is also set to work with another prominent school in the Big Ten, which is Ohio State. So Learfield, they staff around 5 people that are specifically tailored to Georgia's NIL situations, deals, and putting those things together. So the question then becomes, what is the purpose of it? What do you think the purpose of why they're doing it this way? I can tell you what they tell me, but is it something that means something? Does it matter? Is this something that we can see other, universities following, having these? Or for example, how is the Nebraska Collective 1890 gonna be? What is it gonna mean to the university? How is it gonna be effective? Or how they're gonna use it to tie into what they're already doing? Or are they going to work separately? Are they going to work together? Those type of things.
Yeah, I think, I mean, collective, and then along with the clearing house or the house ruling, working together is the only thing that you can do. You can't have a collective working
outside itself, independent.
Well, you can have it outside of it, but it can't work without being lock and step with the athletic department, because then you defeat the purpose.
So does it have to be still only the 20, or can it go up and above?
Well, every year it's going to go up some, but
so you can't work above the 20.
No, but
even with the collective,
still have the collective is going to be totally separate, and the 20 is spread out however you deem fit. So if you're a basketball school, you get North Carolina, you're going to get a little bit more money, or whatever it is, or Kansas, But I think with Georgia, I think if they start losing some big time recruits, that collective will be back in effect, because they'll need a little bit of a boost. I think right now they feel very comfortable that it's football or nothing. So a high percentage of that 20.5 is going to potentially go to the football team. Now, also what's not being talked about enough is majority of the deals, I think, and for the little knowledge that I know, is that the deals of all these guys, they're grandfathered in with their NIL deals. So all this, it'll take an effect next year, unless in their contracts they roll it over. I personally wouldn't.
1 year.
Well, if I'm getting paid without being under contract, a certain amount of money, why would I roll over and be under contract? Unless you're going to pay me more to be under contract. So I think that, now that's a little bit of a different area, but I think Georgia's decided to kind of roll with it and see how it does. And I think, the team to really tip your cap to is the hard-headedness of your boy Dabo Swinney. He never wanted to get into NIL much. He never went into transfer portal much. Now he feels like the playing field is still is even now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can all work within that 20.5. But I think Nebraska and teams like Nebraska that have a good collective, you still keep it and you still use it for like special. If I'm really trying to get you to come here and I'm like, man, I'm tight against my salary cap budget, but I need a little bit of help. Then you call Ellie up from 1890 to put you over the edge. That gets you that recruit or recruits or is able as the backbone.
And see, that's why I was asking the question, Jay, about what we have going on now.
Yeah.
Huge numbers coming in for 2026 as far as their class. We know that the numbers had to shrink from
105,
to that. So you have to start asking the question, is there going to be movement? Are you're pushing people to the transfer portal, or is it just kind of like that some of those people that may commit, they're gonna fall off?
I think the bottom roster, it said in the House ruling, it's stair step before you get to that hard 105 number, but you have to declare some players as student athletes. That's where your collective comes in. So in my case, they're recruiting Jay Foreman out of high school with me, where I needed to get bigger, faster, stronger. I could still be on kind of scholarship, or maybe I might just be on student athlete because I need to develop. I'm still eating at the same places and all that stuff. So I think that's what that's for. Now that's where
that's where you can get creative, huh?
And that's where you talked about the Prop 48.
Yeah.
And I think the Prop 48 is one of those things where, I don't want to get into the whole like where you're from and all that, but if you're from inner city Philly, you're not getting the same education as Bellevue.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not. Or where I'm from, at Eden Prairie. So just entrance exams and the access to all that stuff in there. So that's where you have to be a prop. So instead of going to JUCO, you could be prop, and it's only the first semester, boom, you in there.
Yeah.
But it takes a head coach and athletic director, head coach, and then a team around them to be welcoming to those. I think a lot of universities kind of turn their nose up at it.
Yeah.
But that's no different than that 105 to 120, whatever it is, or even from your 85 to 120. That's your practice squad. That's your 10-day roster in your term.
Yeah.
Your two-way contract dues. That's where you got to really make your money.
Yeah, and the word out there is this: Georgia's collective, which is called the Classic City Collective. It was formed several years ago, according to The Athletic, and they've been raising money to directly pay players while also helping to negotiate NIL deals. it is stated that last year that collective alone paid $1.1 million per month just on football.
That's normal. Well,
Yeah.
Ohio State's roster was like 20. So, yeah, I mean, you got to – I mean, people think everybody's getting paid NIL money. That's not. I think the teams that really spend wisely is retaining your really good players. That's what Ohio State did. That's what Georgia did.
Yeah.
That's where your money goes. You can't do it on these little young punks that come in. They got to earn their stripes, Strick. You know that.
Yeah, that is true. Shout out to Old Dad 34 here on the Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. He says, with Ohio State having a roster over 30 million, do y'all think that Nebraska needs to be close to that amount? Thoughts, Jay?
Man, if that's a 1-year deal and it worked out for them to win a national championship, they probably made that money back twofold. Once you start getting Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith, and all those dudes, two first, second round NFL running backs and 2 or 3 offensive linemen and all that, then yeah, you need to spend that much. That's a good problem to have, especially when they complete the mission.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes people think NIL is like you get a whole bunch of money and you throw it out there, and then every it's like, remember that movie Blue Chips? People think it's like that. It's not like that.
No, that's
because everybody got money.
Yeah,
everybody got money. I mean, obviously the top 30 teams, give or take.
Yeah. So. All right. Yeah, we want to leave a little bit more time for this last segment because I want to keep it football based, and I want to talk and give Jay a little bit of space to operate where we talk about the return of Darren Waller out of retirement. We're going to talk about that when we come back on the other side of this break. 93.7 Ticket.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Hog Wild will be open on the 4th of July, serving up our award-winning barbecue. Pick up a slab of slow-smoked ribs and a family pack on the way to your celebration. They come loaded with your choice of meats and sides, complete with buns and our famous Hog Wild sauce. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Play ball! Ready for summer fun and ballpark vibes? Bring your pack to Haymarket Park for a thrilling season of Lincoln Salt Dogs baseball and unleash the fun. From May through August, the Lincoln Salt Dogs will be playing and the park will be popping with all the food, drinks, and fun you need for the perfect night out. Grab your friends, family, and coworkers and make plans now. Visit saltdogs.com to secure your tickets. Come on out to the park and unleash the fun.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with light winds. An afternoon high around 89. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, low near 66. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 94. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome back to On the Block. Strick. Austin is not in the building, but Jay Foreman as well as Ellie is here with us. Thanks to the Mercado as well, as we're gearing up for July the 4th and all of the wonderful festivities. We did have a giveaway of some pop rocks and all kinds of rockets and ships and
I did see that.
Yeah, we did have a giveaway on our show last week, and congratulations to whoever won that. And then man, the weather's beautiful outside. We're gonna get into some NBA news, a lot of it. There's a lot of moving, there's a lot of shaking, there's a lot of things that what's my guy from Arsenio Hall used to say, things that make you go,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
There's a lot. That was him. There's a lot of that stuff going on, but as of right now, something has transpired that, is it one of those things that make you go, But for the most part, we find that a receiver with tremendous talent, actually a tight end, but I think he's a hybrid, to be honest, with super talent, dropped off the scene. Some was speculating that he had some, mental issues and so forth and so on. But ESPN Adam Schefter has reported that Darren Waller has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Dolphins that's worth up to $5 million. Now, here's the question, Jay. You being a former Giant, you playing in New York, you understanding his situation, that when he's at his best, He is real good when he's at his worst. He can be real bad. There's a lot of inconsistencies there. Is this a money grab? Do you think he probably got his mentals right? Is it the Miami vibes? You know what I mean? What do you think that could draw somebody back out of that? Get out of the deal that you had.
Yeah.
You know, what didn't he like there in New York? What did he like? If he didn't like it, you know, how is this an opportunity to reinvent himself by going down to Miami?
I mean, to be honest with you, he's very fortunate. And that lets you know how talented he is. You retire in the NFL, you ain't getting
very rare.
The teams are desperate. I think for him, when you really look at his background,
and mostly quarterbacks, right?
Yeah,
mostly quarterbacks
or linemen or something that was really, really good.
Yeah.
I think when you look at his personal situation, you know, he started out with the Baltimore Ravens on the practice squad. He had some, you know, substance, you know, abuse issues, and then he went to the Raiders and took off from there.
Whew. He was a beast.
And then, you know, he was a Pro Bowl. He was unstoppable, man. I mean, he was really like their only weapon, and nobody could stop him. And then obviously, you know, he got hurt, but all this coincides, and people don't. I mean, I know it's Men's Mental Health Month, or was actually. That, you know, he got married, and then that was great, and then he got traded, right? And how he got traded, they did him wrong, right? Whereas like the head coach, who he grew to somewhat trust, which you should never do at the pros, didn't tell him, and he got shipped to New York, and then his personal life kind of blew up, and so then he got, you know, the walls just started to. I'm only guessing.
Straight ghetto boys. I sit alone in my four-cornered room staring at candles.
So he just threw his hands up and said, I need a TV timeout. Chuck Willery 2 for 2. And then I think he probably realized he missed the game more than he really, you know, thought at that time, because he's probably not thinking straight. And then also, it's a great opportunity to play with Tua. You're going to get a lot of action. He needs an outlet. I mean, a security blanket. And a year away from the game. Listen. It being 6'6", 245, 40 to 50 pounds that could run and got that catch radius and the experience. Because when he was with New York Giants, he was balling, you know. And so, I just think it's more the opportunity, and I don't think it's really a money grab. And maybe, you know, of course, you know, what how many streams would he need to make $5 million? Because he start rapping.
You need a lot of streams.
He ain't like LaMelo Ball's brother and all that, where, you know, had a couple hits.
I can soon up a soul.
Hey, Strick, I'm gonna tell you this.
Give me some more.
Hey, let me tell you this. I was hating on it.
All right, me too.
Just on GP. Yeah. I was like, man, this dude trying to rap. You know, he went and played in Australia. I was like, man, you about as out of shape as me trying to play basketball. You the odd brother out. And then I was like, you know what? I heard somebody in the airport and I was like, you know what, that stuff is kind of hit.
It's all right, yeah. And then, it's got a little catchy.
And then they were playing it at the All-Star game, and then when I saw him perform, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give him. He's got 2 songs.
Yeah, he's got some hits.
So Darren Waller and he wasn't there.
But the way that I look at it, Jay, in this instance, before we go to the last break before the second hour, the way that I look at it, it's a like you said, there's some things that they need. There's financially some ways that they can't go, especially on the offensive side. If you know,
Hill and
so
Waddle.
It's a good fly. Yeah, exactly. So it's a good flyer to take on that. You know, really that low scale of you know, financially.
In your realm, NBA, it'd be like, and I know he's way retired now, but it's like Michael Beasley took a year off. Got it, and you know, instant when he come, you got him with mid-level exemption, kind of the same, and then you know he instant 12 points, and he's the end of the quarter, half that you know you're gonna get you a bucket, and his mind's right. That's it, right there. Because Michael Beasley's a walking bucket, right?
No doubt,
That's it.
no doubt.
And also, let's not forget, there's a connection with some of the off-field stuff with Mike McDaniel, so I think that's where it gives him security, because you got a coach that really understands this right here.
Psyche.
And you don't never really get that much at the next level.
Right there. There it is. We're going to come back on the second half. We're going to talk some NBA stuff to finish out the second half and what's going on. There's a lot of movement. There's some exit strategies. Some people got clipped and dipped. But we'll come back and talk about it right here on the block right after this.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now through July 6th, enjoy all-natural whole pork butt for $1.99 per pound. Lumberjack pellets for $3.99 when you buy $25 in meat. Buy 5, get 5 free on original brat patties and beef short ribs for $6.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with light winds. An afternoon high around 89. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, low near 66. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 94. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, Cordell & Cordell, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We're back. Second half of On the Block, sponsored by the Mercado from Piedmontese. We thank you for them. And we're going to talk a little bit of NBA free agency that has transpired. But first, I want to start with something because a move that has been made that is, a lot of people have speculation about. Obviously, we know that there's injury involved with it. But they're exercising something in the NBA that, is something I ain't really fully understood at this point. But it's a part in the NBA that they call the stretch rule. Now, what is the stretch rule? Let's look into that.
They got a lot of weird
NBA
terms now.
Yeah, they got some wild stuff. They got aprons, stretch rules. But I'm gonna get into it. But I want to talk a little bit about a few movements. We know that Giannis is reportedly not happy. Obviously, Damian Lillard was one of the guys that he absolutely undoubtedly wanted on the team. But when you talk about this stretch rule, this is going to be implemented. So in essence, according to Yahoo Sports, the Milwaukee Bucks, by waiving veteran Damian Lillard following a 4-year, $107 million contract agreement with center Miles Turner. Ouch. Indiana went from the penthouse to potentially the outhouse by losing really the only center that has any major production that they have in Miles Turner. Now, look, you can say what you will, ineffective, didn't give you enough in the finals, needed more out of him, wanted to move on. But you look on the other side of that green grass and you wonder if it's turf or if it's grass. Mm-hmm. And him going up there, we still don't know what's going to happen with Milwaukee. If they're going to keep Giannis, they're going to move Giannis. But getting the big fella, who is also a stretch, I think he's a little bit better stretch than Lopez. Yeah.
Younger too.
Younger, all those things. So I think they've done that. Now, you don't want to make the top guy mad, but it looks as if there's some frustration there. So what is the stretch rule? So in essence, with 2 years, Jay, and $113 million left on Damian Lillard's deal, the Bucks will opt to exercise a stretch provision. And what that in essence does is it spreads Damian Lillard's remaining cap hit over the next 5 years instead of getting hit with
50 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the largest wave and stretch in NBA history, according to Bobby Marks.
Man, they must really like Miles Turner. And
Yeah.
I get it with the, Damian's a little bit older and obviously it's a lot of money. I guess if there's ever a time to do it so you can kind of potentially still, stay competitive, it's a smart business move as far as from the salary cap goes. But Giannis hasn't said anything. He didn't say anything during draft night. He hasn't said anything afterwards with Porter's coming back. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But man, for Indiana, when you think like, okay, they get to the game 7, we could be in this thing for a few years.
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah.
And they got some young pieces that you think
Yeah.
are mature. I think the Pacers sold high on Miles Turner in the sense of Halliburton is probably going to be gone for pretty much the whole year.
Yeah,
or
that's a
majority
fact.
of the year, right?
Dang
That's
near.
facts, right?
Yeah, facts.
So they probably looked internally at their, program or franchise. Can we handle a luxury tax without our franchise player being available next year? It's very short-sighted. And I think that lets you know that Indiana really, the powers that be upstairs, didn't really truly believe that they were going to continue to make it.
Yeah.
It was just like a 1-year wonder.
Yeah.
Starting over and they're thinking 2026 or 20, whatever the next. They're not thinking next year. They're
thinking 27.
27, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate.
27, 28. Yeah. It's unfortunate when you get that way, but that's what these new CBA agreements and a lot of that has now, like you said, multiple tiers, stretch rules, all these different things. There's so many ways that you really have to be very astute, and also you have to be really good. It looks as if there's kind of a me and Austin talked about it while you were away, but I asked the question, and I'm going to throw it to you real quick before we talk about some of these changes that have been made. Are we starting to see a mirroring of NBA with NFL, being that now obviously the CBAs are different.
Yeah.
There's guaranteed, non-guaranteed. There's, meaning you get a guaranteed up front, but you don't
get the whole
contract. So there's differences in it. But what I'm saying, the mirroring is the overall model of draft well, have assets, be pliable, and grow your depth with a solid top tier level of guys, and hope that there's a mirroring of your quarterback. See, in football, it's the quarterback. In basketball, it's whoever your top 2 guys are.
Yeah.
And that your younger talent can raise their level while they're still not in their big contract move.
They haven't hit the
time
second
frame.
contract. Yeah,
Right.
That's exactly what they're doing. And that's why you see the buyout from DeAndre Ayton. You see the wave or the stretch with Damian Lillard. And you see potentially the reason why the Lakers feel like they can, or LeBron and those in his crew feel like they can opt in because that contract can be held up at other places now. So it opens up the bank. It opens up the salary cap, and teams are either willing or not willing to take on that luxury tax or whatever. But they now have shown you if they sign a quote unquote, and I don't think Damian Lillard was a bad contract. I think it was an injury.
Unfortunate. Yeah.
They're able to get out of it. But it is more of an NFL mentality. But that's a drastic. But here's what's funny. The NFL took on the NBA mentality years ago, where you started trading players and you see more trades. Now you see a ton. Like in the NFL, it used to be 1 or 2 trades.
Yeah,
right?
it was rarities.
Right.
Yeah.
And then now you see, a trade, just with Pittsburgh just the other day with Ramsey and Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
So that's what the NBA used to be. It kind of slowed down, right? Because you wanted to have, your big 3 and then kind of, hope and pray everybody else. Now they moving dudes, man. It's
wild.
It's like the modern day version of AAU.
Yeah, it's definitely a free for all. And then speaking of free for all, the free agency floodgates have opened, just like the Three Gorges Dam in China. That thing just lets out a treasure trove of water, and there's a lot of moolah that's out there. The salary cap is up 10% from last season, which is expected to be the jump up to $154.647 million for the upcoming season. It's going to be up 10% from that. So here's what you do have. Big names that have signed. It looks to me as if the Grizzlies are committing long-term to your boy Jaren Jackson Jr. It's looking like it's probably going to be his team. They're going to start over. It looks like that's going to be the build around. I don't think they're totally still sold unless you tell me you think different on Ja Morant, but it looks as if they broke the bank for him at $247 million max extension in 5 years. He's going to be coming up with. Shams Charania from ESPN also speculates, Jay, that there's going to be a trade coming out of the Nuggets, out of Bloodline's place, not the Bloodline, but it looks like they're looking at Michael Porter Jr. potentially moving on. I thought that was something that they should have did last year, but it looks like it's finally time. I think he's an asset. You're not going to get an overhaul like you got from probably like my guy from Memphis, the big TCU Memphis. Gosh dang it, the shooter.
Oh, from Bane?
Bane.
Yeah.
He probably won't get that kind of overhaul, or do you think he's worth that type of overhaul?
No, I don't think he's that worth that. I think obviously when he's playing well, I think he's got a next level of talent. But I think the problem is health. You know, he's had a back issue ever since he's been in
that's been
a freshman in college.
Yeah.
And then
in Missouri, right?
In Missouri, and he didn't finish.
Yeah.
But then he obviously was a lottery pick. So yeah, there's a lot of movement, man, and it's crazy how you see some players. You know, Denver is removed 2 years, two years from a championship.
Yeah.
Lose your coach, your boy to the GM, and now you're starting to trade some of your vital pieces. I want to ask you something, Strick. Put you on the hot seat about New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a few blue blood organizations. New York Knicks is obviously one of them. Historic and everything, and coaches that coach there historic. They fired Tom Thibodeau really quick after the offseason. Essentially, Jalen Brunson, or not the offseason, but after getting eliminated in the playoffs.
Didn't the slick-haired bandit, didn't he coach up there too for a short stint?
Pat Riley?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was –
yeah. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought about you said legendary coach, and I was
Right.
like, dang, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, they got rid of Thibodeau. So you normally think they got, both back pockets and front pockets. You got 3 candidates you got on the hook. It's been some time. Is that normal? Are you surprised? Or is it a little bit maybe overshooting a runway, thinking that you had a couple options that have maybe bottomed out?
So shout out to, again, the Sutter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685, because this is something that, you may want to touch on this particular subject, because here's the thing. What good coaches are really out there at this point? It's either you're going to take a flyer, Jay, or you've got a couple like Budenholzer, guys that have, and then you really have to think about those type of guys. What's my guy from Matt from Denver?
Malone.
Mike Malone. Yeah. And he's been sitting on the sidelines. And the thing that's unique about that's in contrast between him and Tibbs is he's a system type of guy. He's very stringent, but he's defensive focused. Tibbs was a coach when I was there. He was an assistant coach under Van Gundy. That's why when I speak that, I say 2.0. They were there together. Yeah. It really was. That's where he learned his lessons from Van Gundy. But you're right. It's something to consider as far as they didn't really have anything in their back pocket. But what Mike Brown, who is going for a second interview, when you get to a second interview, that means they're very serious about you. You don't just go back for 2 if they're not serious. So for me, Mike Brown is a tremendous players coach. There's places that Mike Brown has been let go that he shouldn't have been let go. It was undeserving of him to be let go. It was whatever issues that they may have had that was costly to him. It's not that he's not a good coach. He's a very good coach, but he's also a good players coach.
Right.
So the issue is they had to do it with Thibodeau. The reason being is you win a playoff game, you went to your bench shows up and shows out for you, and you don't make the adjustment. They get you back into the series and you don't give another shot. You go right back to who you are. And that's your Van Gundy model of 7 players is what we're doing. And it's ineffective. You lose. Okay. Now, the reason I believe they pulled the trigger on Thibodeau is this. They looked at that situation and they knew that anybody, because you got to understand, players talk just as well as GMs talk and coaches talk. Players talk too. This is why you had the situation in Dallas, why DeAndre Jordan wouldn't answer the phone, because there was a lot of people that were probably reaching out to him, telling him, hey, they don't care about nobody but Dirk here, bro. You know, and that's why he didn't go there. And that could have came from guess who? Tyson
Chandler. That got shipped out to New York
right
after a championship.
And saw how they dismantled the team, didn't let him run it back. That's why for a period, a lot of people was frustrated with Danny Ainge because we went to the conference finals with a solid team. Instead of adding additions, he blows the team up.
Right.
Team goes in the tank, but then he's able to go and get Garnett, Allen, and find a nice young Rondo.
Right.
And now you got something and you add some pieces to it. But you didn't even give guys a chance to run it back. And then you run the team into the tank. That's what they didn't want to happen in New York. They didn't want those guys, Jay, sitting on that bench or free agents looking and watching what they did all season, going into camp, frustrated with a little bit of, kind of.
Here we go again.
Yeah. That type of mentality. So they kind of just setting a fresh start. And, he's one of those good coaches that a lot of people speak well of, that you can at least feel there's some new blood in you that starts boiling if you want to go.
I think Mike Malone, he got a good balance of players coach, but then
you talking about Mike Brown?
Mike Brown and
Malone.
Mike,
same. I agree.
Where they're players coach, but then also they'll get after you too.
Yeah,
So
they'll challenge you.
I want to ask you about Tibbs though.
Yeah.
And the only reason I have a little bit of NFL experience with this is that Tibbs is known. I remember, was it Joakim Noah was talking about? They had just
that's how Derrick Rose's career got messed up.
And he was referencing it. Yeah. He was talking about Derrick Rose, but he was like, "Man, we just had won, 6 out of 8 and went 4-0 on a road trip. We get off the plane, we have a practice the next morning. He's like, Tibbs got us doing 30 minutes of defensive slides." Now, that reputation of I hate to say it, that a coach works you too hard, but not realistic during a season. There's a time to push the players and there's time to taper off. And once you get towards a certain part of the NBA season, I assume it's like the NFL season, you can't be going in and doing goal line all the time.
Great point, Jay.
And would that be a bigger part of the perception of the Knicks?
Right.
As well.
I'm gonna give you two great points. One, I'll start because I'm gonna give you a reference for myself personally.
Right.
And then I'm gonna give you one that I noticed and saw because I also played with those guys. And that was Paul Pierce, Antoine Walker, Kenny Anderson, Eric Williams, that group, Vitaly Potapenko, and that group, Mark Blunt, when they had Patino. Patino tried to bring that college press 48 minutes a game.
Yeah. Play 12 dudes like you're a Kentucky Wildcat.
Yeah. Ron Mercer was there as well. You look, and that's why he brought a lot of his Kentucky guys because
they knew
Walter McCarty, they all were Kentucky guys. And so you bring them in and you're thinking, you know what? We're going to run this same system in the NBA. So it's kind of like Scott Frost, where he was talking about, I'm going to come to and I'm going to bring a system to the Big Ten and try to change it. So he tried to think he was going to change the NBA, but it wears those guys out. And you're talking about pros, guys with killer handles, and the press, they laugh at that stuff. If you're a solid boy, Nick Van Exel and Allen Iverson and, guys like that, Damon Stoudemire, they're laughing at the press. They're like, all right, bro, y'all want to play this game? Dime, dunk. That's the way it was, right? Rob Pack, guys like that. These quick, that stuff don't matter. So that's what happened. But here's the growth. Jim O'Brien was a longtime Kentucky assistant, but one of the things he did was he watched. He's like, we can't do that. So when he took over for Pitino getting ousted, that's the team I came to. He understood I have to get Paul and Antoine to understand that, yes, you're going to get what you're going to get, but you're going to have to. That's why we were able to thrive. And that's why our defense was still good, but he just didn't murk us the way that Pitino did. Okay, same thing. What coaches, especially young coaches, do, Jay, is they try to make a staple for themselves, i.e. Terry Porter. Same thing with Isaiah Thomas. They're trying to basically show that I'm a coach and I'm not a player.
Right.
So they try to go hard on the player,
And forget that they
were a player, right? Okay, so that same thing happened with Jim Clemens, who was a player,
Chicago Bulls,
but he was with the Bulls with
Phil Jackson,
George Jackson, and that whole crew. Okay, tried to bring the triangle to Dallas, practiced us crazy, ran us all crazy, all kinds of stuff, right? So, I was okay. I was coming from college. Cool. But when Don Nelson took over, so we went from Don Nelson would be like, we would have back-to-back. So we would have, 4 games in 6 nights type things. And Don Nelson, we would just say we was playing in Golden State, coach there, run TMC. Mm-hmm. Don Nelson would be like, drop me off at the bar right there. I'll see y'all at the plane tomorrow. No shoot around, no practice. And guess what? We had the second best record in the Western Conference, tied with the Lakers when Don Nelson took over with that mentality. It wasn't that we had to be on the court. He just said, when we show up, perform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as long as you perform, I don't got no problem.
Yeah.
So you have to be a professional.
Right.
You have to know to, get your sleep, get your study. You got to be professional.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that happens in the NFL too. I know when I was in San Francisco, there was a linebacker that had been drafted there in the first round. Actually, we had the same agent. And I was like, man, what, where's he at? And I knew he had signed with Seattle, and he left San Fran to go to Seattle based on how Mike Singletary ran group, like what we call group work, which would be individuals, point guards, go and work on their thing, linebacker.
Yeah.
And it was all based on that reputation. Went way too hard, kill your legs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an unbelievable thing. It's an unfortunate thing. And it's one of those things that you really have to try to monitor. More shifts happening. We know KD is going to be a Houston Rocket. Jalen Green, I believe that was a business deal, and also you get rid of the headache that could possibly be an internal cancer with Dylan Brooks as well. And you're in the 10th pick in Kaman Maluach. Then
talk about the Lakers, man. Talk about this because you said, I mean, just yesterday and they said it. Hey, by the end of what's the name? Brian Windhorst.
Yeah.
By the end of today, he actually predicted by end of First Take or whatever show he was on that the Lakers would have a center. Well, we talked about who would fit: Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, right, and maybe Miles Turner, but we didn't think financially could do it.
Yeah.
Well, just in a matter of hours, all 3 of them are gone, and now we just got word that DeAndre Ayton has finally got bought out by Portland. Now he's a free agent. Talk about the type of pressure that is in that Lakers, war room to sign DeAndre Ayton, because even the mid-level guys have already found places. So it's essentially you're doing everything for Luka, but there's nobody else out there.
Okay. There's multiple things that is happening on the Laker front. One thing I'm going to talk about initially is you have to ask the question. There's some internal stuff going on because Austin Reeves was offered a max contract for him in his rating.
Right.
Was not the super max, but a max contract. He turns it down. So you got to ask yourself, well, what's going on in here that would make him, after he worked his tail off?
Yeah.
So that tells me he wants to move. Like, there's something about this LeBron or this Luka situation or the style of play that he just ain't vibing with.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what that is. Then they're now coming out of the GM side of things. Who was it? Dorian Finney-Smith? Who was?
Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith.
He was there, right?
Yeah, now he's in Houston.
Okay. They were looking to sign him.
Now talk about that, Strick. That's dirty business.
Dirty business, diabolical business.
Boy,
They're running them talking about his knee shot. He can't do it because you want to sign him. You're trying to get him on the low, and the next thing you know, the word gets out. It gets spilled the beans.
Yeah.
He on his way to Houston. So now the word out there is, why would anybody trust doing any kind of business with Pelinka? That's not the business you want when you're trying to build. I bet Magic Man over there
ready to get him up out.
Ready to get him up.
He got Magic too. Remember we talked about Magic when we're turning
and Jimmy and West, Jerry West.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean that right there.
That's diabolical business. They talk about it real quick. What would that do to somebody, a GM in the NFL, if something like that got out?
Latrell Sprewell. I ride some speed. hey,
not the spree choke him up.
$20 million,
right?
What's that thing where Mike Epps said about? Remember with the lottery ticket with Ice Cube? He's talking about. He's like, I ain't just crazy. He's like, I'm insane. That's all I would be. You remember what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
He tried to question your health league wide. It
Right.
got out. And potentially could have forced you to take $20 million less.
That's diabolical business. How would you feel about it? 402-464-5685. And look, don't even look at the numbers.
I'm figuring
just talking about at the job you at right now, and your supervisor or your VP or whoever it is undermining you to the top brass, HR or whoever it is. How would you feel about it? Talk to us on the Sauter Heyman text line. We're going to take another break, and we're going to come back and talk about winners and losers and maybe a few more teams as well as to what they've done in this free agency right here on the block.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, Cordell & Cordell, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508.
Citizen soldier and veterans of the Army National Guard, you are invited to celebrate the 3rd of July at the Roca Tavern for a free concert by Sean Cole and the Drunk Monkeys. It all starts at 8 p.m., and it's sponsored by the City Car Wash on 3rd and Main in Hickman.
Hey guys, you have heard about the Farrell's 10-week challenge for years on the ticket. If you still haven't joined us for this amazing challenge, what are you waiting for? You could be our next $1,000 winner like Derek, who just lost 30 pounds, 23 inches, and 8% body fat. Derek changed his life in the 10-week challenge, and so can you. Farrell's combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to get you the results you have been waiting for. Join us July 12th for the Summer 10-Week Challenge. Go to fxblincoln.com to enroll today.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Don't wait for Lincoln's fireworks stands to open up. Get the good stuff at Roca Crazy Cracker in downtown Roca. Stop in from June 25th through July 4th for the hot spot for rockets and more this Independence Day. Open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. It's Roca Crazy Cracker Fireworks in downtown Roca.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with light winds. An afternoon high around 89. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, low near 66. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 94. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fleck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Back. 2 more segments left here on the block. There's some winners and losers that are out there, and just gonna talk about it a little bit, just kind of throw it out there. One of them, the Rockets made it. They've made a big move. They brought in Kevin Durant. They've got Sengun. Van Vliet took the homie lover discount.
They got your boy Jabari
Smith re-signed. Yeah. So it's and they got rid of the cancer of Dylan Brooks, who really, to me, Dylan Brooks he's so much up and down. He's a discount version of Draymond Green. I still think Draymond's more effective
Yeah.
in what he does for their team instead of what he does. But if you look at the Houston Rockets, would you look at that team and say that it's a win from what they were able to do, or was it a loss?
I think they've had the best, free agency offseason. You get a dude in Kevin Durant
Mhm.
that wants to hoop, that fits in well with the head coach and the organization. One place he wanted to go, so he's motivated. You kept Sengun, who was probably
who everybody was calling about.
Everybody's calling about. You probably will get the best version of Jabari Smith because he can see somebody that that he can replicate. You got Van Fleet back, and then more importantly, you just got Finney Smith.
3-and-D guy.
3-and-D guy
Mhm.
from the Lakers. So you get shooting, size.
Who was a little disgruntled there.
Right.
He didn't seem like he fit in. Talk to me.
Well, he did early.
Mhm.
When Darvin Ham was there, and then because him and LeBron worked well, and then obviously JJ Redick kind of phased him out. I think they've had quiet as kept. They are set up every which way to make a run and challenge OKC.
See, that's what's crazy, right? Would that be ironic, Jay,
for Kevin Durant
to have that face off again?
That would be.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
It
what
would be.
I have to think back. Was it Houston that was one of the teams that got them early before they were able to break through? Was it Houston or was it Phoenix? I can't remember what team it was. When he was there early on before they actually started breaking through, there was a team that knocked them off, and I can't remember for sure if it was them or not. But that's neither here nor there. What do you think about Milwaukee? Win for them, loss for them.
I think they're
with what they've done, and also giving up, Damian Lillard. And
I think they're at a C+. I think reluctantly they have contingency plan if Giannis chooses to leave. And nothing's going to replace Giannis. He's at the apex of his career, and he's an unstoppable force. But you got a younger version and a better, stretch five in Miles Turner. He gives you a little bit more versatility off the bounce. You brought back Bobby Portis, and if you get Giannis, you like that. Now you had to give up Damian Lillard, who Giannis was part of the reason why he stayed the first time. But also, I think Giannis is fair enough to understand the injury play part of it. Now you have to replace it because it's not just Damian Lillard. You let you gave away Drew Holiday after essentially trying to run it back reluctantly to win back-to-back championships. That was his road dog. So you better get Giannis on and say, what 2 moves do you need to make sure that you're back? So I think they're a C+, which is good for them. If Giannis comes back, I think they're in the B+.
Okay, shout out to them. Let's talk about Bloodline. Let's talk about what's going on in Denver. First, is it a win or a loss for the moves that Denver has been making? Denver acquiring Cam Johnson from Brooklyn.
I like that.
I actually like that
reliable.
too. I think he's more reliable in trading Porter. So you're basically getting an equation there. Johnson going for 19 points a game on 48, 39, 89 clips, 4 rebounds with 3-4 assists, and Porter going for 18 on 50, 40, and 77 splits, 7 rebounds with only 2 assists. So it's a little equation there. But I think, to be honest, that Cam Johnson has a little bit more upside. Reason being, I don't think he's just stationary. I don't think he requires as much help. I think in the open court, he can get out, get downhill. I think it's a good flow for him there. So I think I agree with you.
I like Denver, and plus I think Cam Johnson works a little bit better with Gordon. I felt like Gordon and Porter kind of got it.
Yeah,
kind of
in each other way.
Right. And I think Porter became stationary, which then kind of hurt Gordon. Also, Denver got Tim Hardaway Jr. That's your punch off the bench. I think that's what's really hurt Denver the last couple of years. So much pressure was on Bloodline and the Joker. So I think they've replenished. I think it's going to come down to, with Denver, not only how good this grade is down at the season, but how well they mesh without Malone and the new coach. They made a run, but that was just a like overflow or remnants from what they know. Now you're starting at scratch.
How
with a new coach? I mean, that's it.
Right. How do you look? Because we already talked about the Lakers. We personally think that's
minus.
a minus
F
for
minus.
what's going on.
What,
right
what
now.
was a pass, no pass? Did you ever take those?
The
incomplete or whatever in college.
Oh yeah.
They about to get one of them.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, there's
they are when you know you failing, you gotta take a pass. No pass.
Right. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Shaky. How you look at the Mavericks? Obviously, landing Cooper Flag at the first, knowing Kyrie is down, re-signing him to 119 for 3. But then, you don't really have a point guard now. So it looks as if they're eyeing. So there's where my thumbs come. They're eyeing D'Angelo Russell for about $11.7 million for 2 years. How do you view that? Do you think that's a good look? Is it a good bridge? Or should they be looking elsewhere to try to find?
I think it's good. I think it's kind of like when he went to Golden State. Kind of look, we're going to give you you're going to have plenty of chance to run the show, increase your value. You might even be a trade deadline or the NBA All-Star trade deadline. Have to move you depending on what Kyrie's doing. And I think he's familiar with Anthony Davis. Right. And I think that his style of play with Jason Kidd, who's obviously a Hall of Fame point guard, distributing, I think will be good for him.
Yeah.
I think because he'll get Clay, hopefully some better shots, and it'll make the game easier for Cooper Flag. Because that's the most important thing.
Lastly, before we take a break, how are you viewing? So let's first let me caveat it by saying, who are you looking at as outside of them winning the championship? But how are you looking at the West in comparison to the East?
Ooh, I think the West is loaded,
super loaded, right?
Yeah, and I wonder if it's so much competition that they'll be worn out by the time they get to playoff time. East is just
wide open.
You just close your eyes and decide who you want to pick.
Yeah, I mean, because no one expected Cleveland to go to that level,
Right.
and then here they go,
right?
right?
Then they got
and they got mopped up.
They got mopped up, and then the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
They got injuries.
And a rebuild.
And you definitely ain't trusting Philly.
Right.
So then you go to
Washington, trading pool. They really don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, they don't know if they want old wily veterans that barely getting around.
Right.
They might as well just have me and you out
Right.
there.
So you can see an emerging Atlanta. Go ahead.
That's what I was just about to say.
Talk to me.
My main light skin for the win.
You can
Ice
actually
Tray.
see them. You can
Yes.
actually see them coming.
I don't like that they got rid of Capella though.
Yeah.
But I don't think Capella played as well for them as he did for Houston. It might have been contract. But I think this is a good time for Atlanta to really make a run. Now, I'm going to tell you the sneaky team now.
So,
you know where it is. You know what it is. When you remember when Barkley threw the dude through the window down in Orlando when the dude asked him for an autograph? It's the Magic.
I was actually going to say the Magic too. I've actually got the side eye of the Magic. Like, I
now
might.
they used to say when you go to Orlando back in the day when there was garbage, you could just go out all night. Now you go down there, you get ran up out the gym. I think Orlando is going to be
the
a
sneaky
problem.
team.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a problem too. I have to agree with you on that. We're going to see coach-wise how they're able to use the weaponry that they have in New York, which is going to tell you a lot. If they do sign Brown, you better hurry up. I think they need to hurry up because free agents are dropping like flies.
Let me ask you, who do you like better in New York, Brown or Malone?
Probably Brown. I think Malone is a good, well-rounded coach and would be fine there. I just don't know media-wise if he has enough of that brazenness in him
Savvy.
to navigate that.
That's 60% of the job.
It really is.
In New
I
York,
think Mike has that. I think he has the abilities to do that, to kind of, as Eric would say, be pliable. Just kind of be able to be, like you said, Bruce Lee.
Like water.
Yeah, like water. Last one. In the West End, since we talked about that, how far up the chain or the totem pole or down the totem pole, based on the moves that San Antonio made, where do you see them? Top half, middle of the totem pole, or bottom half?
I think right now they're middle, which is great for them. That means they're on time and they're on schedule. I think that middle could really get up there if Golden State, they got rid of our boy Mooney.
Yeah, they sure did.
I mean, not get rid of. He left finally. He was a guard back in the day.
I know,
right?
bro.
That's where his handles go. So I think San Antonio, if they gel and Victor Wembanyama really takes a huge step, and then they really start to him and Fox really get together, along with Castle and all them dudes.
And they got the young fella.
Yeah,
Harper.
Harper. Yeah, so I like it though.
I like what they build it.
Right.
To me, they have been one of the most efficiently run organizations
for 30 years.
For 30 years
or more.
Having SAPs in the landscape changes of what the CBAs have become, for them to still maintain and not be busting it wide open for the tiers.
Yeah.
They've done a good job of putting product out there, I think.
We talked earlier in the first hour about 4 stars and all that, and how the mentality goes into it. I think the biggest thing for them is the fit that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Do you fit San Antonio, and do you play kind of like the Spur way? That's it.
Yeah.
You don't it's rinse and repeat. You had the Admiral and Tim Duncan, and then you had my man Sean Elliott out there balling.
Yeah.
I mean, and then if you was a knucklehead, they ran Vernon Maxwell and my boy Steven.
And they even ran Michael Finley went down there, got him a championship. They take the old head.
Where you fit in.
Mario Elie. You know what I'm saying? They know how to find
Mario
them.
Elie told me, you heard about him in Houston, right?
Oh, Mario's wild.
No, man, when he was at the stoplight in River Oaks. Now, River Oaks is billionaires out there, but once you in Houston, there ain't no zoning. So you go from that and
to straight 3rd Ward, 5th Ward.
Right. And then you down there at the Galleria. So
right.
He had his Benz, right? He riding down. Mario flossing. Dude was walking across the crosswalk, got off the bus, got in there, stuck him on. He's like, you know what time it is. In the middle of the day, to drive up here, we're going to drop you off, and I'm going to take your car. Oh, yeah.
Got off the bus, though.
That's the best part. With the weaponry.
Oh, man.
Say,
that's hilarious. Eric, shout out to you, man. Look, Eric is the pause guy. Eric says, why don't you guys talk about Strick's Holly Berry story? We got to go to break.
That's next segment.
We ain't talking about it. We got to go to break right after this 937 The Ticket.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with light winds. An afternoon high around 89. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, low near 66. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with a light breeze. It'll be hot with an afternoon high near 94. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Join us for Early Break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the brand new Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket. We'll showcase the brand new hotel and preview its grand opening. That's Early Break this Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. at the Residence Inn at 9th and R in the Haymarket.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the 2nd season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Back for the final segment here on the block, and this segment is sponsored by Match Play with Love Volleyball Omaha. We thank you guys for your sponsorship of the show. For this segment, we're appreciative of it. And to speak of the final segment, we're going to take some of you guys' Sauter Heyman text line. Augie on the Sauter Heyman text line throws this out here, Jay. He says, how bad did Doubles blow it by taking Frenchie over D Queen?
It better work out, man.
Better work out.
Like, it better work out right now.
Yeah, they ain't got time to wait.
Yeah, because
they're hurting.
Yeah, because I think Queen is going to be. I think he's going.
I think his upside is
yeah,
tremendous.
yeah, and I think he,
especially if he stretches,
right, and I think he's on that
trajectory
quick, and the personality's there too.
Yeah,
which is obviously so.
Unnamed texter 8642 says, I think we're talking about, was it Houston? Where's Steven Adams playing right now?
Houston.
Yeah,
That's
Houston, right?
We didn't even mention.
We didn't even mention. They were able to keep him. Yeah, they were able to keep Steven Adams. And to me, Steven Adams, I take him with me, even more so than I would say Meta, because he's like that new move, that quiet assassin.
Yeah.
He's like one of them, like the accountant. He's like the accountant. You know,
he got that grown
man, New Zealander type strength.
I didn't even,
He might come in here hawking. He probably come in there and do that.
Yeah. He praying to dolls and stuff. You gotta watch out.
He like Joe Boo or something.
Yeah. He prayed to he think he got the power of Zeus with that hair. Was
Right.
it Samson?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Shout out to them. So let's let me throw this at you, Jay. Let me see here. I think I have it. We talked about Dame. We talked about him. Okay. We did talk about him. Okay. There was something that I had on my mind, bro, that I just really wanted to talk about. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. You coming from a father, before we got a couple seconds, you coming from a father who has NFL, some legendary status about them. How were they able to maintain the humility of running Arch Manning the way that he has without not allowing him to, start feeling himself before time? And
I think it's a family. I think it's a family business. They know the political game of brand awareness, and he's been able to see a lot. He's been able to be at the dinner tables and just listen. And so, plus, it seems like it's his personality, and he's in there, man. I mean,
is he the fastest of the Mannings? Like that? Yeah, that little sucker can get it.
He actually is a better run. Well, coming out of high school, he looked like a better runner than thrower. So, it's there for the taking.
Yeah. Tennessee. I mean, not Tennessee, but is Texas basically telling the SEC they stepped in and like Debo and take what you got on my 40, homie?
Yeah, they took over, man, and they're a Big 12 team. They went into the SEC and took over, but they were built like a SEC team would start coming. But for Arch, it's there for the taking, man. It's gonna be interesting to see.
It's gonna be interesting. Last thing. Who's worse off with a rising Texas in the SEC? Who's worse off by them continuing a dominating type of rise?
The better that Texas does, it's bad for Oklahoma.
I say the same thing.
Hey man,
poor Red River brother.
Hey, they can't get by a break. Get a break, just like getting fired on your day off.
I would say them, and then right also next door in Mississippi.
Yeah, but more just Oklahoma.
Yeah,
because Texas always just looks at them as like a little brother, anyways. And Texas is getting all the recruits and all the love, and you don't hear nothing about the coach on the hot seat.
Yeah, poor Oklahoma. We don't feel bad about them.
But let me tell you what: if they don't have the best defensive line, they got the second best defensive line in college football.
Oklahoma?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Well, shoot, it can start right there. That could be the turnaround that they need. But that's going to do it for us here, because Old School is going to be next. Jay Foreman is going to continue on. What you talking about, Jay? What you think
Tuesdays is off, man. It's Teammates Tuesday.
Oh, it's Teammates.
You got Big Swole out there.
Big Swole was out here. Okay, shoot. Yeah, so the Teammates crew will be in here. Tuesday. And that's all good. But you'll see us mañana on a Wednesday.
That's right.
We'll see y'all later right here on the block. Peace. We out.